A new Wordle puzzle is online. Click on the link to play.
Listening to the following video may give you clues. Please like and share the videos.
The end of an error. Why Madison Cawthorn loses in the GOP primary. We will cover the reasons why Madison Cawthorn lost in the GOP primary and how his errors ultimately cost him the election.
Madison Cawthorn's remarks about Santa Claus, pro-Trump stance, and statement that she isn't a Christian were all blatant blunders and ultimately cost him the election. But there are other reasons why Cawthorn lost the GOP primary as well.
Jasmine Beach Ferrara wins GOP primary. In North Carolina's 11th congressional district, Democrat Jasmine Beach Ferrara has won the Democratic nomination for Congress.
Beach Ferrara is a prominent LGBTQ activist and a local elected official. She has raised the most campaign cash of the 5 candidates and now faces the Republican nominee in November.
The 11th congressional district leans to the right, so Beach Ferrara's victory is a significant upset. But the race is still far from over.
In the GOP primary, State Sen. Chuck Edwards of North Carolina defeated first-term Republican Rep.
Madison Cawthorn, a pro-Donald Trump congressman. The race was not close before the Associated Press announced the results.
In fact, Cawthorn's campaign was plagued by scandals and was a major source of opposition to Trump. She was also recently cited by police for driving with a revoked license.
The Republican nomination for the 1st congressional district is also in doubt, and there are no clear candidates yet. The top 2 finishers need to garner at least 30% of the vote to advance.
The top 2 finishers of the primary election will face off in a runoff on July 26. Both sides declined to comment for this article.
However, Libertarian David Coatney won't face any opponents in the general election, so he'll be on the ballot in November. The 2 top Democrats are Kurt Schrader and Jamie McLeod Skinner.
While the Democratic candidates are backed by progressives, both women have a strong history with local Democratic parties. But Beach Ferrara's popularity won't guarantee a Republican victory in November.
If she wins, she'll face a Democratic incumbent. In addition to Beach Ferrara, 2 other Republicans won the GOP primary.
Madison Cawthorn's blunders hurt him. While Madison Cawthorn's endorsement from President Trump may have helped him secure a spot in the November general election, his previous mistakes hurt his campaign.
He was arrested twice for carrying a gun on a plane and said he'd gotten high on cocaine in March. He's also faced questions about his family's possible self-dealing, having paid a cousin $141,000 in taxpayer funds and campaign donations.
In addition, his recent blunders have cost him a significant lead in polls and have been a target for super PACs. In addition to misspelling Woodhouse's name, Cawthorn also made a lot of blunders in his campaign.
One was his decision to endorse a pro-Trump rally and encourage attendees to contest the election. This move caused a riot, leading to his demise in the primary.
Other blunders included his support of the former state senator from Henderson County, Matt Burrell, and King McKim, but Cawthorn has since withdrawn his support for all 3 candidates. One of Madison Cawthorn's biggest blunders hurt him in GOP primary, claiming he was gay and endorsed Donald Trump, and making off-the-catch comments about fellow lawmakers.
Cawthorn's own statements about gay men and lesbians also hurt him in the race. While his pro-Trump stance is welcome, his blunders hurt him.
The fact that he is the youngest member of Congress suggests he has become an internet star and a successful fundraiser. If the primary election were a straight race, Cawthorn would have won easily.
But his absence has opened the door for several GOP challengers. One such candidate, Michelle Woodhouse, a former ally, has already opened fire against him.
His pro-Trump stance. The pro-Trump stance has cost Cawthorn a Republican primary.
He misled voters by saying he was denied a seat at the U.S. Naval Academy because of an accident that resulted in spinal cord injuries.
That claim is false. He was rejected before the accident.
Meanwhile, a report from Patrick Henry College said Cawthorn engaged in sexual predatory behavior. Cawthorn has denied the accusations, and he has said his decision to run is political blackmail.
The Republican Party chairwoman, Julie Johnson, has stated she would run to replace Cawthorn, so it's unlikely Cawthorn will win the election. If that's the case, he's not the only one to blame.
Cawthorn's supporters seized on his stance on Trump as a scapegoat for his divorce. He also called out the media and said it was scandalizing to call him a pro-Trump supporter.
In addition, Cawthorn's wife, Christina Beardell, was married to the Republican candidate for 4 months. Cawthorn was elected as a U.S.
representative despite his injury. He failed to gain the support of Republican lawmakers in his state. Senate President pro tem Phil Berger, House Speaker Tim Moore, and Republican Sen.
Richard Burr endorsed Cawthorn. Although Cawthorn's campaign has been quiet about his candidacy, President Trump has been more vocal on the matter.
A tweet about Cawthorn's endorsement by Tillis in the aftermath of the primary has even the former candidate tweeting about Edwards. While Cawthorn won the GOP primary by more than 12 points in 2020, he struggled to stay on the Republican ticket in 2022.
Scandals continued to pile up for Cawthorn, and he may end up in a runoff. The last public poll was conducted after the orgy comment, and he currently leads Edwards 38% to 21%.
With only 6 other candidates, Cawthorn would have a solid showing for a runoff. His comments about Santa Claus.
Republican primaries aren't just for the presidential hopefuls. In the recent election, Sen.
Tom Tillis backed Cawthorn. His super PAC spent $1.5 million in the district on TV commercials and mailers.
Ads were designed to scare the GOP base, and one of them referred to Cawthorn as a reckless embarrassment. They also accused Cawthorn of shutting down his campaign in the wake of the attack.
Meanwhile, the primary race is also a test of Trump's grip on the GOP, and one of them has received a lot of media attention for his comments. Some voters objected to Cawthorn's comments, citing his role in the Capitol riots.
A federal law prohibits public officials from inciting insurrection, rebellion, or riots. Cawthorn also called Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky a thug during a speech in Washington, which was preceded by the Capitol riots.
Some members of the House Freedom Caucus were so furious with Cawthorn that they turned against him. While it seems unlikely that the GOP will kick him out, it is likely that the GOP's leadership will be forced to reshape their party's position on issues such as drug use.
While the riot was shocking, the Republican Party is not ready to let Cawthorn become the presidential nominee. The conservative movement and the GOP establishment saw Cawthorn as a rising star in the 2020 election.
But the comments about Santa Claus have tarnished the GOP primary and turned off many of its supporters. Cawthorn's candidacy has now fallen on its head.
His remarks about Volodymyr Zelensky. But
Madison Cawthorn has been in the spotlight for years now, but her remarks on Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky have cost her the GOP primary. Her remarks, which are reminiscent of many Russian officials' comments, have enraged Republicans, as did her attempts to get through airport security last month with a gun.
But Cawthorn's office has tried to diffuse the reaction by pointing out that the congresswoman was simply trying to warn us against another overseas conflict. A video of Cawthorn's comments about Ukraine President Volodymyr Zelensky, a former military officer, emerged showing her making controversial comments about the Ukrainian president.
While discussing military aid to Ukraine, Cawthorn lashed out at Ukrainian leaders. Zelensky is on the list of Russian killers, and the Russian government has threatened to take action if Zelensky continues to defy the ruling regime in Kiev.
It is not surprising that a pro-Donald Trump firebrand like Madison Cawthorn lost her Republican primary. She was a vocal, unapologetic supporter of former President Donald Trump, but her remarks on Volodymyr Zelensky hurt her campaign.
However, she had hoped to change the districts, but they failed to do so. In addition to his remarks about Zelensky, Mr.
Cawthorn married the woman of his dreams in April 2021, but he missed the majority of House votes while on honeymoon. He refiled for the 11th district, but later announced his divorce 2 days before the election.
Cawthorn met Beardell in a fake CrossFit competition he joined while the district was redrew. This left an opening for other viable candidates to join the race.